Hello, everybody. Last one. Kostas wins the Spolia Opima. Spolia Opima. Julius Caesar won the Spolia Opima. The Spolia Opima, the spoils of honor, you only got by defeating in single combat the leader of the enemy. Actually, I'm completely wrong. I don't think Caesar got that. Caesar got one for saving a general's life. He didn't get the Spolia Opima. That one guy did during the during the reign of Augustus, and Augustus, who was kind of a bit weedy and frightened and knew he could never get it himself, tried to change the deal for why you were allowed to get it. So this was one of the greatest honors that a person could get in the Roman army. Anyway, without further ado, I'll do the last of them. I hope you found these okay. The more of these practices that we do, the better. So I hope you found the 5 all okay to do over this break. We'll go through the next week. Erat, there was then amongst the cavalry soldiers, militrum, tribunus militum, a tribune of the soldiers. We don't see the A, do we, for as a prefix? Aulus Cornelius Cossus. We haven't seen it very often. A man, ablative of quality, of outstanding beauty, and mindful of his most noble birth. He cum videret, when he saw the Roman cavalrymen, trepidantes, frightened at the attack of Lars Tolumnius, the king of the Veii. When he saw them frightened at the attack, and he had recognized that man, eum, him, insignem, standing out in his kingly clothing, volitantem, galloping to and fro, and he had noticed him, insignentem, significant but standing out in his kingly dress, riding or galloping to and fro. He said, "Hic igne," hic plus ne. So, is this the ruptor, the breaker of a human treaty, of a human alliance, and the violator of the laws of people? Jam ego. Now I will, simodo, if only the gods want, if the gods want anything of sanctity to be on their land, I will give him as a mactitam, as a victim for slaughter. That's a supine here. As a victim to be slaughtered, I will give him as a victim to be slaughtered. As a slaughtered victim. No, it's not even a supine. It's just I will give him as perfect passive participle, as a slaughtered victim. If only the gods want anything of safety, anything of sacredness, of sanctity to be on their land, I will give him as legatorum. I will give him as a sacrificial victim to the manibus, to the spirits of the dead, of the envoys. To the manes, to the departed spirits, to the ghosts of our envoys. Equo citato, ablative absolute. Having stirred on his horse, he was brought against that individual enemy, but he charged upon that one enemy. Quem, whom, when he had dejected, I think he struck a blow from his horse, when he had struck a blow upon him, and knocked him equo from his horse, temporal clause. So when he had struck him, it literally means to strike a blow, but when he had struck him from his horse, struck him down with a blow from his horse, statim, he himself immediately deciduit, jumped down from his own horse, in pedes, onto his feet. He supinat, he knocked down the king. There he knocked down the king, ad surgentem, present participle, getting up, scuto with his shield, and with a spear he pierced him on the ground. He pinned him to the ground. Dum victor, then as the victor, detracta, having put on the spoils of his dead enemy, and having cut off his head, and wearing the abscisum, sorry, I'm just got my bit there. Stripping the spoils from the corpse, cutting off the head. He, what do we want to say? Having cut off the head, carrying it on the, let's see, carrying his spear. So then, as victor, having detractor, having taken off the spoils of his dead enemy, he, having cut off the head, carrying it on his spear, he fund it, he put to flight the enemy, he fought off the enemy in terror, and the terror and fear of their slaughtered king. That was a good sentence. Then, as victor, having detractor, having stripped the spoils of his dead enemy, and having cut off the head, carrying it on his spear, he fund it, he fought off in terror the enemies, he fought off his enemies, he put to flight the enemies, drove off the enemies, terrified by the in terror of the slaughtered king. Longe maximum. This next bit I think is interesting. So what do we want to say? Do we want to say that Kossuth was the greatest? So there was the greatest triumphal procession. So by far, Longe, the greatest spectacle of the triumph was Kossuth. That sounds good, doesn't it? By far, Longe. By far, the maximum, the greatest spectacle of the triumph was Kossuth. Wearing the spolia opima, wearing the spoils of honour of the slaughtered king. The soldiers sang incondita, sang crude songs likening him to Romulus. The spoils or he fixed the spoils in the temple of Jupiter Feretrius, and it was Jupiter to whom he gave the spoils, nearby the spoils of Romulus, which had first been called the spoils dono as a gift. I'll just go through that bit again. So here, he fastened the spoils as a gift. So fixit spolia. He fastened, or he fixed the spoils, dono, as a gift. Sorry, he fixed this first one. He fixed the spoils as a gift in the temple of Jupiter Feretrius, next to the spoils of Romulus, which had first, pluperfect passive, been called, or which had first been called the spolia opima, the spoils of honour. Well done, everyone, and I very much look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye-bye, everybody.